Alright, hey, what's up? This is Orb. I'm recording this FPVOD commentary. I'm about C-, as yeah, it says right there. Actually, that's kind of embarrassing. I'm barely C- right here. I think I lost like 10 games in a row. It's pretty sad. But this guy, as you can see, is like 3980, so he's almost C. He had 250 APM this game, I had 238. So I don't know, maybe this will be a game that can help out some D+, C- people with PvT. So basically, what I wanted to do with this FPVOD is really show completely straight up PvT play. So I didn't do reavers. I didn't even do Templar drops, which I usually like to do because I mean you should incorporate Templar drops in your game always. It's just so easy. If your opponent doesn't see it, like if you can do it during a battle or something, and your opponent doesn't see that coming, it's amazing. Just kills all their workers in seconds. It's ridiculous. So, but yeah, I didn't do Templar drops. I didn't do any drops of any kind, really. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't even use Templars in my army, which is shocking because Storm is so overpowered. So basically, what this is it's just like a 1A, 2A, 3A commentary where I show you how to just macro up and just own them up with recall because it's so fucking easy. So yeah, alright, here we go. 10 gate. I like to scout after gate, you know, whatever is your preference. Yeah, 11 gas. If you do 11 gas, depending on your economy, you know, if you do 11 gas, sometimes you have to cut, like I cut probes here for like 3 or 4 seconds, and if you do 12 gas you don't, but whatever. And then whether you get a 13 or 14 cores, whether you went 11 or 12 gas, usually, I was upset once I didn't see him there. On Python, I guess it depends on your opponent's playstyle, but if your opponent is at the opposite, not across map, but the far spot that's not cross from you, like here, if he was at 3 o'clock when I'm at 6 o'clock, that's the best spot to have them at, because it makes it so easy if you do expand at 9 o'clock, and they're just so fucked. Cross spots isn't bad though. I see he's at cross spots. That's nice. If they're at close spots, it sucks though, because what they can do is they can just use the cliff that goes along their base to your base to slowly siege expand into that mineral only, and they start sieging into your base and moving on you really slow, and it really sucks. So to counter that, you got to get a lot of drop ships with Zealot bombs and Dark Templar bombs, and you got to try to counter them. It's really hard. But yeah, so I like to leave my probe there outside his base in the mineral line. This guy's actually pretty smart. He went and killed it like 3 times, unless I'm remembering the wrong game. And but that's really helpful because then you can see when they expand. And you really need to see when they're expanding. It's really important if you can't get your probe into their base to see that kind of stuff already. So yeah, I got range immediately after my first goon. Sweet, generally when I do. So yeah, there he is. He's killing my probe. He's got his Marines out by his natural. They're gonna go kill it right there, which really sucks. So I just sent my goon to go kill the SCV on my base. You know, pretty standard. My goon gets stuck like a retard like 3 times, which is pretty disappointing. So yeah, I like to go for a 2-gate build. You can get away with expanding after 1 gate. A lot of people do it, but to be honest, at like the C- level, there's like a lot of cheese. So, you know, I just like to have 2 gates just for, you know, the safety, like in case he goes for dropships or 2-fact. And you know, I should be able to see the 2-fact coming, but I like to have that freedom of, you know, like if I have my goons outside his base and then I see like he's starting to push out, I can just like start pumping on the 2 gates. It's really easy to defend against pretty much anything. And then often I like to get my robo before my expansion, but you know, I just had a feeling with his Marines that he was probably going to be expanding. So yeah, he goes and kills my scouting probe again, but I was too busy microing my goon to notice until it was too late. But I see that, yeah, he's got 4 Marines, which is the standard amount to fast expand with, so I'm pretty sure he's fast expanding. And yeah, after, so yeah, just get into the power line. I'll start harassing his wall, but it's not going to do much. And range just finished, so that's perfect timing for the goons to get there to go harass the wall. It works out pretty well. And then I go to get my robo there, but my pylon placement was pretty fucking retarded, so I have to go place it over at the top left. But yeah, I sent my goons back because, you know, I realized he was about to have his tank out. My goons were kind of late from dealing with that SCV, and I'm pretty confident in this game that he was just gonna fast expand. So kind of a risky move to take to not see what he's got up on his cliff. Could have been delaying his 2-fact rush until he had more units, but whatever. Anyways, I just sent out another scouting probe. It's really worth it to have probes die to be able to see when they're expanding, because, you know, if he still hadn't expanded when I sent that up, I would have known something was up. I would have got like third gate immediately, and, you know, I should have been getting my third gate right now anyways, but, you know, just to defend against, you know, the incoming like 2-fact or 3-fact, whatever the fuck he could possibly be doing, not expanding it. But otherwise, I'd send out another probe to expand. And yeah, there I do get a third gate right now, which is kind of late. You usually want to get it right as you're expanding so that you can, you know, defend against that rush. Then you get your obs immediately. You probably want to get a second gas at some point, pretty close to after you've expanded, because if you want to be pumping a lot of observers, like I like a ton of observers all over the map, then you're going to need a lot of gas. But so yeah, right now I see with my probe that he still hasn't expanded. I'm starting to get really worried. I think like a 2-fact or something is definitely incoming. I'm pumping goons, pumping observers, and I get my goons situated like that. If you're like a D or D plus noob, like setting up your goons like that is so important. It can make the difference between whether you hold off that push or whether he rushes through you. Okay, now I see that he's expanded, and I'm, you know, a little bit relieved. I send one to go expand immediately. Now, a lot of people expand to the mains and just pile and wall off the ramp. I don't like doing that. My way is kind of weird and unorthodox, but I like to expand to the naturals because if you expand to the main, then when you go to expand to the natural, you don't have a pile and wall set up for that. You have to deal with all that. You have to place like cannons all over the place and stuff. So I just like to expand to the naturals first, set up a pile and wall, and then I can go to expand to the main, and I don't have to set up another pile and wall. You know, I'm all set. So usually the general terrain response to this is to try to drop the main of the natural, which is why you got to get speed zeals ready to deal with that. Yeah, after you set up that pylon wall, instead of just doing it with all pylons, I just like to do it with gateways. Now I start to realize why he didn't push out and took so long to expand, is because he was like turtling. I guess he was afraid of cheese or something, but he placed turrets all over the place, like all around the exterior of his base, which is kind of a waste of money, but whatever. It's good for me. So yeah, I start to notice I'm low on gas, start to get that second gas, so I can keep pumping. Jeez, that wasn't even paying. I think that was Zealot speed. I mean, I think that was a Citadel, but I placed it pretty fast, I'm not sure. So yeah, that's one of the tricks I like to do right there. I place a pylon up on the upper ground, because, you know, I started to notice that whenever you expand to the natural, they'll just place tanks in the upper ground, siege them up, and before you start to move your probes out of the way, before you realize, they kill off a bunch of probes. So if you place a pylon up there, you know, you notice the tanks coming, and you can get your probes out of the way. Also, I usually place a cannon up there just so that they can't just place the tanks there and start sieging up. They have to kill the cannon first. So it gives you the time to get your units up there before they can start attacking your probes. It really helps out a ton. Which is also one of the benefits of doing a pylon wall in the first place. If you're like a D or D plus noob and you don't pylon wall, and you think like, you know, why not just use like cannons or something, you know, cannons at the base. Pylon wall helps so much because if they send tanks to that, excuse me, if they send tanks to that expansion, it delays them being able to get to the expansion. They have to kill the pylon wall first. So that gives you time to get your army back up there before they can do any damage to the actual expansion itself. So that's really helpful. So when I set up a partial pylon wall here at my natural, it just makes it so not as many vultures can get through at once. Sorry about that. You can also, it's just another place to place gateways. I like to place gateways all over the place. It creates, like, especially when you place them at an expansion, like I placed at the natural, it allows you to flank a lot easier if they're doing a main push on your main or something. It also makes it so if they do some hard push somewhere, you don't lose all your gateways. If you place all your gateways at one of your expansions, then you don't lose them all. If you place them all your main, they drop your main, you don't lose them all. Stuff like that. You can always keep up production. So I see that he's got like vultures. He's not being very aggressive. I start to get kind of paranoid at this point because I see that
seconds.